see you. How are you? Come on over here.
How you doing?
Well, I'm disappointed. I mean,
You're a little disappointed?
I'm heartbroken, but I'm relieved.
About what?
Well, how many of you... I mean, you've got Lorne Greene's album here.
That's right.
You obviously don't remember Kurt Russell Sings.
No, I've not heard of it.
1970. It's a complete collector's
You had an album of your own? What were the songs?
It was along... I think it was more along the lines of Greg Morris's.
Now, why did you do that? Do you sing pretty well?
I was roped into it.
Yeah.
You know, I had no reason being there. It was a big mistake.
Did it sell very well?
No.
Yeah.
No, it's a real collector's item. I mean, if you get one of those, you got something in 100
Do you have
years.
some at home?
My mom, I'll bet, does.
Well, have her send it to me. So you were up all night, apparently. That's what I understand.
Yeah, last night I was imitating David Letterman, sort of. No, I was doing thing for Good Morning America for this Liberty Island deal, you know, and I did a 5-minute segment. We started at 11 o'clock and finished at 7 on the Staten Island Ferry.
And you went to places that are open all night in New York City. What kind of places were there?
We hit Gray's Papaya Stand, and then we talked to a cab driver. We hit the best one I thought was the all-night barber shop.
Now, at what time were you there?
I was there early, about midnight.
And were there people in there getting their hair cut?
There were, but there was Billy Joel doing a video next door, so who can tell?
That's part of the problem, sure. Now, this movie, which I saw this afternoon, is very entertaining, and you're very, very funny in it. Now, explain to me the kind of character that Jack Burton is. It sounded a little like John Wayne.
Well, we thought that the guy had to be as big as the picture was, and it's wild, and it's pretty big.
I've not seen a picture like this.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we set out to do, and the character's a little bit different. He's a hero that doesn't really come through all that much, but he thinks he does.
Yeah.
And
he's just kind of a load, isn't he? But he's sort of,
I really thought that he was like a cross between John Wayne and Eddie Haskell.
Yeah.
So that's what you, Mr. Cleaver, that's what you get to see.
Give me a little of the voice of Jack Burton, because it sounded to me like a little of John Wayne.
Well, it needs a situation, David.
Oh.
But I mean, the guy is a half-wise guy, but he's full of it. What can I say? I think you have to go see the picture.
Anyway, I thought you were very funny in it.
Thank
you. Was it enjoyable to make?
A blast. Yeah. It was great working with John again. And
John Carpenter?
Yeah. John Carpenter we'd worked together on Elvis and The Thing and Escape from New York.
Can you do some Elvis for us?
Oh, maybe later, huh? You didn't have an Elvis record that I could.
No, we don't have any Elvis, no. You can't just talk a little like...
Well, you know, it just doesn't work that way for me. I have to work for about 3 weeks on it, and then I can...
Can you stick around for 3 weeks? Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, now the special effects in the movie are crawling through rats and slime and...
Well, that was the toughest one for me. I mean, actually, the special effects were pretty grand. The simplest of things was I had to slide down a pipe one time and land on a pile of fish, and John decided to put 6 or 7 rats on top of that.
Actual rats or...
Real rats that the rat wrangler put down there. And John kind of looked down there, and John said, go, and for the first time I really felt like the character. You know, I just kind of bowled forward, and the first time on the rats wasn't too bad, but when they started getting smart, I figured they'd start wanting to chew their way out from underneath me, and the third time was no fun.
Now, at some point, could you go to him and say, I just don't feel like doing this, I don't want rats
I wish
running
I could, but I couldn't.
Now, how many films were you in for Walt Disney?
I was there for, I don't know, on and off for 10 years, so I did 9 or 10 pictures for them. Some classics. I mean, Computer Wore Tennis Shoes.
Yeah.
Now you see him, now you don't.
That was you, and we have some photos, actually, of that.
I remember these now. That was when I was about 13.
Yeah.
That was, first picture I did there, that was called Follow Me Boys. That's Fred McMurray. With the slingshot, that's Fred McMurray.
Yeah. And who is this?
That's Cesar Romero, and that must be from one of 3 pictures that we did together there. That looks like, let's see, Barefoot Executive. I'll take a guess.
Did you get to keep the suit?
I did. I mean, I wanted it.
Now, how did you start doing that? Was that fun for you? Is that what you wanted to do as a kid? I mean, did your parents suggest you do it, or did you come home one day and say, I wanted to be a movie actor?
My dad was, wasn't as an actor, and I watched him go to work, and I'd go down to the set once in a while, and it looked like fun, and he made good money, and he was home a lot with his family, so I wanted to buy a couple of bicycles, and I had a paper route. It was going to take me about 9 years to get the 2 bicycles, so I asked his agent if she could get me an interview. Yeah. So, I mean, that was where
This is at 9 years old? You're asking for interviews?
Yeah, I was,
pretty hip kid. It's unusual, isn't it, for a child actor who worked as much as you did and as successfully as you did to then sustain it and carry it on into the adult years.
I don't think I would have if I wouldn't have torn the rotator cuff in my arm. I would have continued playing ball.
That was your first love, was baseball.
Well, it was more of what I thought I was going to do.
Right. We'll talk about that in a second. We have to do another commercial. All right. We'll also be on this program tonight. So when did you start playing ball? As a little leaguer, right?
Yeah, I started when I was like 9, and then I just went through the normal process of Little League and Pony League and then high school ball, and then I got signed when I was about 20.
What position did you play?
Second base.
And how high up in professional baseball did you get?
Double A was the highest I played, and I was with the Triple A ball club in spring training, and then I got traded.
Triple A would be just a step away if things go well from the major leagues.
Actually, I think Double A is a better slot to be in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why is
you're
that?
young.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. At that time, this was in the early 70s. They were just more prone to taking guys who were younger and a little bit hotter out of the Double A ball than they were Triple A ball.
In those days, maybe Triple A players had come back from the majors?
There was a little more of that going on. There was older players in the game then.
What was it like being 20 years old and in the minor leagues? It was crazy guys?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a different life.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. All you have to do is be at the ballpark at 5 o'clock if you're hitting over 300, which I always did. But it was, you know, there's a lot of things that took place. I mean, you've got 25 guys that are young.
Basically
and
just
they need,
big kids.
Yeah, they need something to do after 10:30 at night. And well, you want to?
Yeah, what kind of things would happen?
Well, I mean, I don't know what I can say, but I mean, I'll tell you.
We'll worry about that.
Okay. Well, I mean, the worst. I mean, the example of baseball has a very cruel but wonderful sense of humor.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, the best one I was ever involved with was a guy had a no-hitter going in the 7th inning of a shortened doubleheader, so he had 2 more outs to go to get this no-hitter, and the first base umpire did not like him, and ground ball to the shortstop. Shortstop throws the ball to first base. The runner crosses the bag ahead of the. He's out by 2 feet. Safe, umpire.
There goes the no-hitter.
There goes a no-hitter. Says it's a base hit. Pitcher goes crazy. It takes us 3 hours to pull him off of him. So he sits and broods for about 2 weeks on how he's going to get this umpire back, and finally figures it out. We do have in this small town a baseball Annie who everybody knows.
Baseball Annie is a very enthusiastic female baseball fan.
Usually this one had a venereal disease to go with it, right? So now he sits and he thinks and he says, I got it. So he goes and spends a couple of nights with her just to make sure.
So now he has the disease.
That's right, so he has it.
Oh, yeah, now there's brain power.
Yeah. Now
he's in the old...
Okay, but this is dedication coming up.
Okay.
Now he has this. Now we have to wait for another week before we get that umpire in our rotation. Okay, now that umpire is married, but he also likes to play around, thinks he's a pretty hot deal.
Yeah.
So he comes back in, and that night we play. So now this guy's had to carry this around for a week. Not easy. And we meet the umpire, and he goes and he says, listen, I'm really sorry about the thing a couple of weeks ago. He says, let's go out after the game and have a couple of beers.
Right.
Bring your wife.
Yeah.
So we go out, and it's our job to get him drunk. While
To
he's
get the umpire
drunk, while the guy now with the disease is, right? So I told you, it's a cruel but wonderful sense of humor.
Yeah.
So now we got the guy drunk, and he takes his wife home, and now 2 weeks later, the guy comes back, and he's talking all about how it's, been a rough week, and I don't know where I picked it up, and the guy looks at him and says, you picked it up from your wife. Took us another 3 hours to get him off him, but that's the wonderful, cruel sense of baseball minor league humor.
Did that actually happen?
It did, yeah. I wasn't really a part of it as much as I was
Well,
watching
now you made it sound like you were.
Well, I helped in the getting the umpire drunk. I thought he deserved it. I did think he deserved it.
Because of the bad
I never
call.
loved umpires. So
good Lord, that's pretty elaborate a thing.
Yeah, but that's how. I mean, you've got hours upon hours to think about these things.
That's right. Now, are you in touch with any of those players that you played with at the time?
Not really, and I have a great time because we've got Goldie and I got a satellite at home, and so I flip that thing around, and it's fun now to watch. I can just see a guy run on the field, and from the back of him I can see who it is. And I pick him up and I watch some of the guys. I see some old roommates and stuff.
But you said you were injured and about 20 years old, and that was the worst thing that ever happened to you. Being
it was.
Injured.
At the time I was 23, and I didn't know, I didn't know what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I had acting to go to, but baseball was what I'd been planning for.
Turned out pretty well, though, didn't it?
It was a blessing in disguise. I'd be hacking around in Mexico.
Now, Goldie Hawn was here a couple of, months ago, and she was pregnant at the time.
She's even more pregnant now. She's got a month to go. And
I understand you did have something to do with that as well.
I hope she doesn't know that friend of mine, right?
And so how soon is this going to happen?
It's going to happen, I think, on July 14th.
Well, that'll be exciting for you.
That's what we're going for, yeah.
And then, now you're still not married, the two of you?
No.
But you probably will be getting married, won't you?
No. We are married. I mean, for all intents and purposes, we are married.
But do you get a lot of heat from your family?
We get a lot of heat from not from our family, no, from everybody.
Guys like
else.
me.
Yeah. Why, you know, I mean, you're the same generation I am. It fascinates me that that's an interesting thing, but it is.
Yeah, but your stars, your major stars, you and Goldie Hawn, and it's just the kind of thing
We
that...
came through the 60s and 70s together.
Yeah, that's right. But I was in the Scouts. The motion picture is called Big Trouble in Little... Bring a spark of